Evolution comes from the word evolve, meaning to develop gradually. The development obtained by a believer through accurate knowledge of the law of Christ. It is the result of the development of the divine Logos in mind. What we are and what we are to become is the result of the evolving of our consciousness, and this state of mind or new awareness is the result of the seed, spirit word, sown in the mind. God implanted His perfect word, developed this seed word in each true believer. The Gospel of Thomas, saying 9, Jesus said, "Look, the sower went out, he filled his hand and cast the seed. Some fell upon the road, the birds came, they gathered them. Others fell upon the rock, and struck no root in the ground, nor did they produce any ears. And others fell on the thorns, they choked the seed, and the worm ate them. And others fell on the good earth, and it produced good fruit. It yielded 60 per measure, and 120 per measure." Thus, spiritual evolution is the unfolding in consciousness of that which God has implanted in a believer. The evolving of our consciousness is the transforming of our mind. Romans chapter 2 and verse 12. "Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is good, pleasing and perfect will." Therefore, spiritual evolution is the unfolding of the Spirit of God into action. The mind of a believer is the garden of God, of which the seed is the Spirit word sown into our mind and heart. The Christ consciousness or Christ mind evolution in a believer is plainly taught in the Scriptures as the most important realization of every believer. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 16. "For who has known the mind of YAHWEH, that he will instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ." Romans chapter 8 and verse 9. "However, you are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if indeed the Spirit of God dwells in you. But if anyone does not have the Spirit of Christ, he does not belong to him." Colossians chapter 3 and verse 10. "And have put on the new man, who is renewed in accurate knowledge according to the image of him who created him, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcised nor uncircumcised, slave nor free, but Christ is all and in all. Therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, long-suffering, bearing with one another and forgiving one another. If anyone has a complaint against another, even as Christ forgave you, so you also must do. But above all these things put on love, which is the bond of perfection." Without some evidence in us of the Christ consciousness, or the mind of Christ, we are little better than animals. When, through faith in the reality of things spiritual, we begin conscious evolution, there is great rejoicing. We rejoice in hope of the glory of God.